Do 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 do. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Awesome Amazing Show. I think we're on number 10 now. Who knows? Let's see what is going on in the world. I just saw that the Pentagon has officially accepted the plane from Qatar. Uh, However you say it. I when I was growing up, it was Qatar. Now it's Qatar. Whatever. Yes. So the plane is in, guys. $400 million. It's in, it's in, it's in. We've got it. And, I was thinking, I've been talking about this for quite a while now about the plane, and I thought about it some more. And who doesn't like nice things? You know? You know what I mean? Who doesn't like nice things? What did Donald Trump say earlier? He was like saying that, you see these other planes out there. They're so big, they're so nice, and we roll up in Air Force One, this old, dingy plane. Doesn't even have any gold. The plane doesn't even have any gold. We need gold on Air Force One, guys. We need it. We need it now. So we got the plane from Qatar. I believe there was an estimate done somewhere that we had to. Let me look it up. Let me look it up. This is the best part about doing this live. How much does it cost to refit Qatar plane? Because I remember. Okay. Here we go. Turning the Qatari 747 into Air Force One can cost an additional $1 billion. Very interesting. It could take years to do, but hey, we got the plane, guys. It's ours. Now that the Pentagon has officially accepted the $400 million plane, it kind of makes you wonder what the other countries are thinking about right now. Because I feel like if you're Israel, what can Netanyahu, whatever, Netanyahu can offer us that's in that ballpark? Who doesn't like nice things? When you go to a birthday party, right? It's customary to give out goodie bags. And sometimes you look into the goodie bag and you're like, oh, little Betsy gave this out as their goodie bag. And it leaves a lasting impression, right? So, as we have now officially accepted this plane, it makes you wonder, what are the other countries thinking? What can Israel offer us to maintain our presence over there, our support? What can Ukraine offer? What can Russia? It kind of, in a way, opens the door for a lot of countries to kind of consider what do they have to give. I What would you like to get from Israel? I think is the question that I want to give out to the American public right now. What would you like to get from each country? That's because the bar is set 400 million, right? So, and you know how like a lot of these countries at work, right? They like to one up each other in a way. So maybe that's the plan. You accept the plane now, and down the road, one of the other countries out there want to top the plane, to gain support, and they offer an island. Ooh, I got it. Here we go. Follow me, guys. Follow me. This is the path. Trump gets the plane, right? It sets the precedence that we're open for business, right? We're open. We're ready to play. Like how they when like the dealers test undercover cops, they have them try a little bit of the whatever they're doing, right? Just a taste. and just to see if they're cool. This feels a little bit like that, where you get the plane, right? And then it lets the other countries know, ooh, these guys, they're in business. They're in, right? And then so you can start thinking, what do we have to offer? Right. This is where you gotta follow me here. Long-term plan. You get the plane. With the plane, it lets the other countries know you're in business, you want to taste, you want to play. This is how Trump moves on to get the Gaza Strip. Like that country gave us a plane. This other country gave us a piece of land. And they're like, "Whoa." This long-term plan, guys. I don't know. We're that's something that, as I was saying that earlier, that if we get the plane from Qatar, what can Israel offer us? They could offer us a piece of the strip. That's that's what they have to play with. That's what they can offer. It makes you like I was thinking like every country must have something they can offer. Though I think my main pushback on getting the plane that I really don't like is that the plane itself is a floating palace, right? It's a floating palace. It's got like a gajillion bathrooms and bedrooms and all kinds of different rooms. It's a party plane. You know, it's a super party plane basically. A floating palace. That's what they call it. It's not meant to be Air Force 1. It's not ready. It doesn't have, like Air Force 1's. But then again, you got to think to yourself, who built a $400 million floating death machine in the air? Because think about it, okay, this thing's $400 million. Literally, one pilot. If the pilot decides that he's gonna have an off day, and decides to take it down, he's gonna take it down. um, you would think it would have some sort of defense mechanisms because I guess there's a okay. Here's the other thing that I was just thinking about. There's an area. Um, You know how like the mega rich they have their super yachts. Like Bezos got like how much is Bezos' super yacht? Jeff Bezos super yacht price. How much did his super yacht cost? Okay, Bezos super yacht. This is my thought process here. Bezos super yacht that he got built is $500 million, $500 million. Okay. Um, issue with the super yacht, right, is that the barrier to entry to uh, do a heist on the super yacht is actually very low. A floating pontoon with some Somali pirates can still board your yacht, right? But a floating the barrier to entry for Somali pirates to reach the air palace is pretty high. They There's no way they're getting up there. I don't know. Um, but you would figure that this $400 million plane would have some sort of defense mechanisms. Uh, what I'm trying to get to is that I feel like my main issue with this plane is that they're projecting it would cost $1 billion to refit to be up to par to be Air Force One because there's like certain standards. It needs to be able to refuel in the air. It needs special, I don't know, flare systems. When I'm imagining Air Force One, I'm thinking about Air Force One, the movie with Harrison Ford. It had flares. It had like special offices that he can go to. It was, like, imagine they can remake Air Force One on the Super Mega Palace, and it it could be a completely different movie because it will be like AI Harrison Ford running through marble floors in the space. And I mean, with $400 million, you think this thing has a zoo? It well, in the movie version, it should have a zoo, and in the zoo, it'll have snakes, and then we do snakes on planes with Air Force One. Have Samuel Jackson do a cameo. Banger, a real movie, guys, a real, in a way, original idea movie. Air Force One mixed with snakes on a plane on a super floating palace. Make it happen, Hollywood. Make it happen. Um, but yeah, I'm saying that possibly this will open up the idea that other countries need to give a gi- give us a little taste of what you have to offer. Qatar set the bar. Qatar says we have a plane for you guys. Okay, that's in a way going to cost you more money down the road, but we'll talk about that another day. Okay, we're not gonna worry about that right now. We're just gonna tell everybody $400 million. Who cares that it's going to cost us an extra $1 billion to refit? Does it really need all that? Who knows? Who knows? What else is going on in the world right now that we can discuss? Let's look it up. What is the top trending news today? Tax bill stuff. Yeah. Oh, I guess there's an update to that New Orleans breakout. The jail, they arrested somebody. If you guys don't know, I think it was last week, about 8 or 7 inmates escaped from a New Orleans jail by essentially taking apart a toilet and going through the wall and then getting to the loading dock, and they just ran off. And they think they caught like most of them already, or half of them already. And the thing that you want to catch these guys, they're all up for like second-degree murder and whatnot. Just to give you an update, they have formally arrested someone that works in the jail, a maintenance worker, because they're saying that this guy turned off the water, which allowed them to remove the toilet and escape. So we'll see. I mean, they had a pretty head start, but so far, where they found all these guys, they're pretty close to the jail itself. So they didn't make it very far. We'll we'll keep updated on this. Um, I think what I found fascinating about this is that they keep up they keep upping the reward, which I think is pretty interesting. Uh, I feel like if you just need to catch one, I think you're okay. I don't know. What else is going on in the world right now? Oh, I've been seeing. It feels like there's been an uptick. This could be a follow up, I guess, on a story. It's an old story, but like it's been popping up more and more. The story about the guy that got $50 million from Starbucks because supposedly she gave him a hot coffee cup. He spilled it on himself. $50 million. Kazam, kazam. And I saw another story very similar to this where some guy did something and they got hurt, and boom, like multi-million-dollar payout. And I I was saying this yesterday, and I was feeling, in a way, as a DoorDasher, if you're a DoorDasher, a Grubhubber, whatever, um, I feel like getting coffee spilled on your lap by a barista is like winning the lottery for a gig food delivery person. I just wonder like how how What is the feeling inside? I think that's what I'm wondering. Like, you get the hot coffee spilled on you, right? And I remember growing up, there was the story about the McDonald's lady that she had coffee spilled on her at McDonald's and she got like $20 million. And I remember that was a big story when I was a kid. And so I'm just really shocked to see the Starbucks story that this guy got 50 million for getting coffee spilled on him, because I thought everyone learned from McDonald's mistake and put like caution, it's hot or something like that on there. And that's why you haven't seen any more of those lawsuits pop up over the last 20 years. So I'm just surprised that happened. And yeah, so but I was like, I'm saying, like, I wonder what the feeling is like if you're like this gig, job by job, uh, DoorDash person, and then you go to Starbucks to pick up coffee for somebody that was too lazy to go get it themselves, and or too busy, whatever, and then you get coffee spilled on you, right? And you're like, you you're like, oh my gosh, no, it burns, but deep down inside, you're like, hmm, hmm. It's almost like when you get into a car accident and you get rear-ended. I don't know if you guys ever been in this situation, but I've had this situation before, um, where you get rear-ended and 100% you know that is not your fault. You're not at fault for the accident. Yeah, I don't know if you guys ever had this scenario pop up, but this is probably what happened to me like twice. I think I've been in like 3 or 4 car accidents, not at fault car accidents, and I am chill as a cucumber, to be honest. Because when you know that you're not at fault, it's to me, I'm kind of like, oh, okay. Um, you just battle of the egos. Where are we going with this, Josie? Um, are you? Is this related to the car accident thing, or are we talking more about the plane? But anyways, to the car accident thing, and you kind of like, oh, okay. Um, thank you, because okay, Josie, we'll get back to the plane. We'll get back to the plane. I'm gonna finish this car accident thread. Um, when you know you're not at fault, you kind of feel like that you're gonna be okay because you're just gonna call like one of those family attorneys and you get some kind of payment and you'll be okay. All right, Josie, back to the plane. We're indebted to them. I could totally see that about the plane. Because it's kind of like, we did you a favor, you got to do us a favor. As I was saying earlier, I feel like the main thing that I really hate about the plane, us getting the plane, is actually the price tag that's projected for us to refit the plane. That's the crazy part that I feel like that it's projected $1 billion for us to refit the plane to turn it into Air Force One, which I thought the reason why this came up to begin with, let me look this up. I thought they were already refitting Air Force One, and I thought the idea was for them to give us a temporary plane for us to use as Air Force One until the planes are be Air Force One can be finished refitted already. Like, they're already remodeling Air Force One, so that's already money being spent, and then you get another plane. It's kind of like you get a car and then someone gives you another car out of the blue, or you get in possession of another car out of the blue and you weren't really asking for another car, and now you have to pay insurance and maintain this other car. That's what it feels like about this plane, because I thought we were already, let me look this up. Air Force One, um remodel. Right. I thought we were already. I thought. See, like I type it in, and then there's this video already from January about Air Force inside the new Air Force One. Yeah, it says we're already in replace. When is this? When was this article being put together? Okay, here we go. Delivery schedule. Okay, Boeing initially planned to deliver the new aircraft in 2022, but the program was delayed. Newest estimate is 2027. Okay, very interesting. Um, so that's what I was saying that I thought we were already working on a plane. So how much did the new plane cost? I think that's the next question we got to ask ourselves. Okay. Let's talk about this, okay? This is actually very interesting to me. The Air Force One modernization project was contracted to Boeing. Keep in mind, Boeing, guys, come on. um, contracted to Boeing in 2018, and it originally cost an estimated $3.9 billion for two 747s. However, the cost has ballooned due to delays, cost overturns, and other issues, with estimates now reaching $5.3 billion. Boeing has reportedly lost a total of $2.5 billion on the project. Really? Really? How convenient. Boeing says they lost $2.5 billion. 2.5 2.5 billion. Boeing, you're saying that you lost $2.5 billion on a project that's now estimated to be 5.3 billion? That's insane. That's very insane. But yeah, the original cost, right? We're getting two planes is 3.9 billion. Where does the money go? Because the more you think about it, the more it's kind of like, okay, I get it. Boeing's saying that it's kind of like when you're buying a car, right, with a dealer, and then you go in there and you're like, oh, the sticker price is this, and you negotiate the deal, and the thing that sales guys always say at some point when you're trying to make a deal with them, they always go, oh, I'm not even making any money on this. Just take, you know, I came in here, you go in there, you're like, I only have let's say $10,000 or whatever, $15,000, and the guy's trying to say like, oh, the car's 17,000, and he's like, oh, and they're like, I only have 15,000, can you do something? And then they're like, oh, after, let me talk to the manager real quick. And then they go in the back, they like go into another room, they spin around in the chair for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes or something, pretend they're having a conversation, they come back out, and they go, oh, I had this long talk with the manager, and the best I can do is $16,000. And then you're like, oh, but I only came with 15,000. And then they're like, oh, I'm sorry. I mean, this is the best I can do. This is the only price reduction that we can do today. And this expires by the end of the day, because we had to move some numbers around, and we had to fire three guys, mechanics today, just to get this number for you. Or we sent some guys home. So to make up the cost of us lowering it down by this price. And then you're like, oh, I don't really want to do this, but I guess I can go and borrow a little bit to cover the extra 1,000 that I'm missing to get this car. And then what's the one thing they'll always say at some point? Oh, I mean, we're not even making any money on this. I'm giving it to you below the cost that we're buying it at. We're actually losing $50,000 on this car. You're like, really? You're losing that much money on selling me this car that you have marked at this price? Yeah, I'm losing money on this. And then you're like, if you're losing money on this, why are you selling it to me? So, uh, okay. Now that I did a little more research and found, I mean, I knew that we are getting new planes, new Air Force Ones, but I didn't know that the two planes, keep in mind, it is two planes. So the price tag is for two planes. I mean, we can quickly just divide that in half. It's like almost 2 billion, little over 2 billion for each plane, right? Um, this third plane that I guess we're getting, this Qatari plane, doesn't seem that great to be honest, because we're already paying for a plane that's projected to come out in 2 years from now. Even though it was supposed to come out during Trump's term, but it's going to come out in 2027. Right. So in a way, this Qatari plane um is a rental, right? It's that bridge plane that you're gonna get while Air Force. But in a way, we already have an Air Force One that we're already driving. Um and they're saying it's gonna cost an extra $1 billion to refit this Qatari plane. It just seems like a big waste of money, to be honest. It's not a good gift. It's like a gift that keeps on taking. Like I said, it's like if you already had a car and then someone gives you another car. No, let's just say this. You already had a nice car and then someone gives you a equally nice car, but you weren't in the market for another car, and now you have to pay insurance and maintenance and whatnot on the other car and maintain it. And you're like, I don't have a car. So yeah, this is what this gift feels like to me now that I'm looking into this. You see, this is what we do. We look into it, and you're like, but I don't like I don't like the fact that Boeing is saying that they're losing $2 billion on this project that they are uh, this plane project that they're working on with us right now. I don't like that. It makes me feel like it makes me feel worse about Boeing. Like the general public right now doesn't really like Boeing that much. And to hear that they're working on remodeling Air Force One and the price just keeps going up. And original negotiated price was 3 billion. Now they're saying it's five something billion, and they're saying that they're losing tons of money even thinking about this project. Then don't take the contract to begin with, or at least quote correct prices. I hate. This is in a way why nothing ever gets built in America, because there's all this little knick-knacky, gougy corruption going on. I'm in California. We have that rail system, super train that was supposed to be built, never got built. Well, it's in the process, but every year they keep saying the price goes up and up and up and up and up. And we're in the billions of dollars right now for this project, while some other countries can literally knock this thing out for like half the price, not even half, fractions of a price. And all the money goes to like consultants and all these things that everyone kind of gouges a little bit out. And I'm pretty sure that's what's going on with the Boeing situation as well, because it's kind of like, oh, government's paying for it, guys. You know, Billy buys some extra screws that they don't need, right? And they're like, what do we need these extra bolts for? They're like, oh, it's a Boeing plane. You got to have extra bolts. You never know when one of the bolts don't want to work with us. And then someone else down the road goes, you know what? We need to, because I saw one of the costs for this Boeing refit system. Why It's costing. Part of the cost is testing. Testing. Testing is subjective, guys. You know, they're like, how much does it cost to do this test? I don't know. $80 million. Like, really? Yeah, you want the safest Air Force One, don't you? I guess. And then boom, there's a chunk, Uh, we need these bolts. Really? You need these particular bolts? Yeah. You need the best bolts. And then they're like, really? You need the plasma uranium vibranium bolts? I'm like, yep. You need the bullets to bounce off, It's Air Force One. And then they get those, and then they just upsell at every other step. And then next you're at 5 billion. But yeah. Well, what would be more funny? I think will be the biggest joke of all is we take this floating palace, right? Because this thing is not meant to be a government plane, right? It's a party plane. Say what it is. It's a party plane, right? It's got like marble floors, nice wood finishes, like chandeliers, all the the rich guy party stuff on there, right? So it's not meant for hard, cold government work. I think what would be hilarious is, like I said, that the remodel, the refitting to get this thing Air Force One ready is projected to be $1 billion. What would be hilarious if after they refit the plane and make it Air Force One ready, it's stripped down to the government, like what you expect a government plane to look like. And then Trump goes on there and he's like, where where's the marble flooring? Where are the chandeliers? And they're like, security risk, guys. The marble flooring made the plane way too much, so the combat maneuverability wasn't up to par of Air Force One. The chandelier was a security risk. Like this. We got him. We got him, guys. Um, I'm just I'm saying, like, it'd be very funny that after they refit the plane, um, it like all the like decadent luxury stuff gets removed, and then this like Trump goes in there and he's like, "What the hell?" Like I was like, the wood floor, the marble flooring is gone because it made the plane too heavy. Like you can't dodge missiles if you're a little like, you know what I mean. If you're a little girthy, it's hard to dodge missiles. So they get rid of the marble flooring, right? They're like, oh, security risk. And I'm pretty sure some back end guy um takes the marble flooring. It's in some guy's house now, and then like Trump goes visits like Vance's house, and he's like, dude, your flooring is nice. And they're like, yeah, it's Qatari. That would be hilarious. And then like the chandelier, I was saying like the chandelier, if the plane's going like, like this, the chandelier becomes a security risk because you don't want crystal chandelier stuff flying into your face while you're on the air, right? So they get rid of that, or they change it out with plastic because plastic doesn't shatter, so they get rid of the crystal, and that also ends up at somebody's house, like, I don't know. Somebody's house has the chandelier, and it's got like plastic chandelier, plastic lights, and then he's like, "Ah, it's not the same." That would be hilarious if we get the plane and like they just gut it of all the luxury stuff and they just make it like a flying prison. Because I'm pretty sure there was a reason why um and the plane's supposed to be a certain, like, because I'm saying like it's a party plane. It's not a Air Force One plane. $1 billion to refit this bad boy. Um, but practicality wise, I have to say you have to add. the price altogether, right? Because if it's one estimated, okay, I'm gonna keep saying it, estimated $1 billion to refit the plane, and we're already going to spend. I just looked it up, guys. The cost right now of the Boeing planes that are supposed to come out in 2027 now is up to 5 billion. So you got to add them all together, right? So we're technically at $6 billion for Air Force One now. So if we were able just to hold out for the extra 2 years, right? In a way, you would actually save $1 billion. Just just throwing it out there because the plane is these Air Force One, the Air Force One modernization project was contracted in 2018. They've been working on this bad boy for like the last like 10 years, almost 10 years now. Um by the time they're ready to deliver, it will be almost 10 years that Boeing has been working on this. And imagine that they spent so much time working on this and then Trump's like, nah. He's like, cancel. I got my Qatari plane now. And Boeing would be so pissed. Like I said in this article, it says that they've already lost supposedly lost 2.5 billion dollars on this project, which I I don't even know how Boeing does that, to be honest. I'm telling you, let's look at their books. Because one thing I do hate is once a company knows that they get a government contract, that like they know the government's good for it, they just start upping the price on everything. um, it doesn't make sense to me that. So is Boeing trying to say that this project is supposed to cost $7 billion? Because originally, when we first did this contract with Boeing for the two planes, it was at 3.9, and then now the estimate's at 5.3, and Boeing saying that they are going to lose $2.5 billion on this project, right? Supposedly. So you're saying that if Boeing if Boeing's saying that they didn't up the price, this if they weren't taking a loss on this, it's supposed to be $7 billion for the two planes. Like, come on, Boeing, come on. It just seems to me that someone along the way took a little bit here, you took a little bit there, and then maybe you took a little too much, and they're like, "Oh my God, we're." I bet you never hear those stories of like the. I'm trying to remember this lady, the exact story, but it's like the media had a great nickname for her. It was like the Hermes Queen or something, and she basically worked in the government, and she was in some kind of pricing department or something like that, and she was just buying Gucci this. Oh, I think her name was the Gucci Queen, and she worked at like a government job or something, and she was just taking off the top here and there of different contracts and whatnot. And she was in charge in some fund. I don't know. I gotta look it up later. But I just remember seeing. Let me see. Let me see if I can just find it real quick. Gucci Queen. I remember the headline was Gucci Queen scandal. The Gucci goddess charge. Okay, okay, okay. Here we go. Here we go. I'm just gonna read through the headline. The Gucci goddess pleads guilty to stealing millions from the U.S. Army for lavish lifestyle. All right, she supposedly, this lady, okay, she's sentenced to 15 years for stealing more than $100 million from the U.S. fund. And it's that story stuck in my head because it's kind of like she had access to the funds and she just took a little bit off the top. I believe that's what happened of all these different contracts that the U.S. Army was getting, and she just bought herself like a Gucci purse, an Hermes bag, and another house, and I remember so that story stuck out to me, and I'm looking at this Boeing story right now, or the Boeing saying that they are supposedly losing $2.5 billion on refitting Air Force One, the modernization project from 2018. And I think about this Gucci goddess lady, right? How many Gucci goddesses is in the Boeing? Because I'm so sure there's no way that you take on a project and lose $2 billion. I know Boeing's huge, and they're one of the can't fail companies, but $2 billion is a lot of money for anybody. It doesn't matter. What is Boeing at right now? Let's look that up too. Boeing. You want to do market cap? What is there? All right. Their market cap is $153 billion. Still, $2 billion out of that is a big chunk. Someone would notice. So I'm thinking to myself, how many Gucci queens do they have inside Boeing right now that are getting extra houses on the American tax dollar for this modernization project? All right. I think that's a good place for us to stop. How many Gucci queens are inside Boeing is the question you want to ask yourselves. And I guess we're here to play now. US is here to play. What can the other countries give us that's on par with a $400 million jet? I'm looking at Israel. Netanyahu's working real hard to secure the Gaza Strip. Maybe we want a piece of that. Maybe Denmark can give us a little piece of Greenland. How much is Greenland worth? Let's dive into that. Let's see. Estimated worth of green. I'm pretty sure someone thought of it at some point. Okay. Okay, interesting. All right, this AI says that the suggested worth of Greenland could be anywhere between 12.5 billion to 77 billion. However, a more detailed analyst, yeah, of mineral resources suggests a value closer to $200 billion is the possible expected profitability extraction of all resources. A value of 4.4 trillion is also mentioned on current market prices. Okay, but this could be an overestimation. Interesting. Okay, you see, Denmark, if you're out there and you don't want the Eye of Sauron on you, give us a little taste. Okay, just give us a little taste of Greenland. We'll take good care of it. Oh my god, we got cut off, guys. We got cut off. I got cut off. I got cut off. Oh my goodness. What else is going on in the world? Let's see. Air Force. Oh, wait, what were we talking about? Oh, yes, we were talking about Greenland. Estimated worth. Okay, just give us a little taste of Greenland, guys. Give us a little taste. Maybe one of the countries have a little island that they want to give us as well, right? What's an island you think that we will want? Maybe someone wants to give us Panama, give it back, so we don't have to go over there. There's lots of stuff that other countries can give us. All right. I'm gonna end it here. All right, see you later.